Hello and welcome to University City, Philadelphia. We are here at the Vitus Sports Complex for the Premier Ultimate League Championship game between the New York Gridlock and the DC Shadow. I'm Sean Dacey. I'm here with Andrea DeSabato and Lane Young. Ladies, how are we feeling tonight? Today?
Feeling great. Happy to be here on this scorcher of a day.
Right now we're looking at the standings here. As you can see, the DC Shadow and the New York Gridlock are undefeated so far in this season, both in the regular season and the playoffs. New York defeating the Torch yesterday handedly. That score was 20-9, and the DC Shadow also scoring 20 points, defeating the Philadelphia Surge here on their home turf. And we are live here today from the booth, looking for another hot day out here. It was really hot yesterday. I imagine it's just as hot out there today. Trey, you played yesterday. What can you tell us about that turf?
Yeah, first of all, excited for two undefeated teams to match up against each other. I think that's exciting with the way the divisions are split this year, North and South.
Keep going.
With the way the divisions are split this year, I think it's really interesting that they don't play each other in the regular season, so first time they're meeting and two undefeated seasons. But yeah, yesterday was brutal. The turf surface is 150 degrees, so there is a little bit of breeze, which makes it a little better, but the surface of the turf is really hot.
Here we see some highlights here from the Gridlock and Torch game. Really just the Cardenas sisters going off. Here we have Jenny DeJesus scoring the goal here. The nice layout grab.
Absolutely textbook form there.
And on defense as well. What a crazy D that was.
Yeah, Gridlock looking absolutely dominant over Torch with a 20-9 victory. And now we're seeing some highlights from the second game of the day, Shadow versus Surge. Seeing Ashley Gentilette with a little celebration.
Yeah, I think the story here in this Surge versus Shadow game was, the Shadow went up big pretty early, and they were able to keep that cushion throughout the game. Even though the Surge did, they never gave up. They fought back at times, but the deficit was too large to overcome. We're going to highlight Jolie Krebs here. She's been a standout star for the New York Gridlock in her rookie season in the PUL. I believe she just won a Callahan Award in college. She has that going for her, and she's absolutely been dominating on the field as we check out all these highlights from yesterday alone, already having an impact for her team. What a layout grab.
Yeah, looking to make plays on both sides of the disc, putting a big one up there. And we'll be looking to see Krebs make more impact on the field, I think, here today with this Gridlock squad who is looking to clinch the victory.
Another player we want to shout out or highlight here is Marie Perivier, another rookie in the PUL and on the DC Shadow. Perivier had, I believe, 5 or 6 goals last night. Lane, maybe you can tell us more about that.
I know Marie got at least 5, but really racked them up. Was very difficult for Surge to cover, and just was able to make plays in a lot of the spaces in the end zone. Really a strong finisher for the team.
Played a little bit on their more offensive line. DC's been swapping lines, didn't have a strict O&D, but she plays more of the offensive points, and just, I know we had trouble. She was grinding under the whole game, also taking away cuts, just kind of constant motion, really solid receiver. So she was tough for us yesterday.
And we are getting set to start this game up here. It looks like the DC Shadow will be pulling upwind to the New York Gridlock to start us off here. The wind is running from right to left on your screen pretty steadily. I'd say at least 10 to 15 miles per hour as we look at the starting sevens for each team here. See Ashley Gentilette, Annalise Peters, Jess O, Erin McCann, Jess Sourbeer, Amanda Murphy, Lizzie Laurie on the Shadow side, Jenny DeJesus, Jolene Zhang, Gina Cartagena, Jolie Krebs, Valeria Cardenas, Janine Halavity, and Nina Finley on the offense side for the Gridlock.
These two teams are interesting because Gridlock does run more of a strict offense-defense scheme. They play a lot of players on one line, and they don't cross them over as much unless they're needed, whereas Shadow is a lot more loose. They cross people over. It doesn't matter if it's an O or D point. They have the depth and the personnel to play people, whether it's an O or D point.
DC has had the sort of hallmark fluid lines over the course of the season, which I think they have used to their advantage. I think that the anticipation is that they're going to have to play offense at some point, whether it's by receiving the disc or getting that break. And here we go with a pull from Annalise Peters to start the game.
This pull will land a little bit further past half field. Valeria Cardenas, a name we're going to be shouting out a lot this game, I believe, will start us off. Downfield, there's Jolie Krebs with the disc. Far side, shooting deep immediately. We saw this in a highlight reel. And it's a goal for the New York Gridlock. That is number 2, Jolene Zhang with the goal. So already we're seeing the Jolie Krebs effect happening here live for the Gridlock. Pretty easy.
It's a really good way to start. It's obviously a punctuation mark. You want to come off and show that it's your O-line. You want to take a shot early. You can complete them. Great cut timing to the end zone. And you're going to put it up. You want to say, we're not going to back down. We're going to go. It is downwind, so take your shot.
Absolutely. There was good separation there on that deep cut. And I think one of the things that we're going to see from both these teams is very quick, very efficient offenses. And so I'm interested in seeing what these teams are bringing in terms of defense to really stop that momentum, really jam up and clog the lanes, be able to stop some of the cutter-to-cutter motion downfield, and be able to really generate some blocks in order to get the breaks that we know will be needed to win this game.
Carolyn Tornquist here this game, was not here yesterday, but is on the field today and is on this more O-focused line for them starting right here. I think has only played about 3 games this season, has not been there for them every game. But, yeah, is back for the championship.
And we'll get to see what sort of an impact that her presence has on the field in just a moment here.
Manu Cardenas will throw this pull up. Nice pull going upwind. Well past half field. It's Carolyn Normile picking up, I believe,
That's
centering that to Marge Walker. Back to Normile. Saw Privier open in the underspace, but a little bit of cloggage there. So we'll find Ritzman on the far side. Back to Walker. Finds a wide open, not sure who that is.
That is Caroline Turnquist.
Turnquist shooting deep for Claire Trope, just a little too far.
You don't often see that. Usually Trope and going away like that is usually able to come down with the disc, but going downwind like that, the disc can float a little bit further and was just out of range of Trope this time. And so here we are with Gridlock with the opportunity to march upwind and get a break.
See the Cardenas sisters in the backfield. Valeria with the disc. Dumps it back to her sister Manu. Good defense from the Shadows so far as Valeria gets the bailout throw. Hits the centering pass to Eli Pressburg. Pressburg up to, can't see their number, that's Cassie Brown with the disc now. Good mark from Carolyn Normile. Great pressure. Turnquist getting the D back for the Shadow.
Throw one away, you get one back.
It's the mentality you need as Carolyn Normile will start with the disc.
Looking to reset off the line.
Really low throw. Scooped up by Ritzman. It's called up. We see Turnquist with the disc, dumping back to Ritzman, over to Normile. Back to Ritzman.
A lot of patience with this end zone set.
Marge Walker on the doorstep. And Valeria Cardenas there to snatch that one away. Cardenas and Pressburg, a little dink and dunk. Valeria's going to send Pressburg deep. Pressburg, it's floating a little bit. Wow. Great defensive effort there from Ritzman.
Both sides so far. A lot of back and forth. A lot of tight defense, pressuring the discs in the air.
Scuba here from Caroline Normile. It'll find its mark. That's Carolyn Turnquist, the far side. Now a deep shot again. Looking for Perivier, but this one just a little too far and also out of bounds.
Given the heat yesterday, Dre, I'd be interested to get your thoughts. How much is fatigue going to play a part in this game?
It's different. So I think they have had a little bit of time to rest. Their rosters are constructed very differently. So Gridlock has a much smaller roster. Also doesn't sub as deeply as Shadow does. Shadow has a lot more people, a lot more depth, and they play everyone. So that could be a factor now that Gridlock is on day 2 with smaller numbers, with a little bit less rotation. So, I mean, the heat is a factor. The breeze was nice, but there are tents, there are water. Once we were actually playing, we didn't feel too bad. Obviously, there was those mandatory water breaks that were useful, but it didn't feel as bad once you're going. It's more when you stop and you're standing on the sideline or when you're walking around, you feel it a lot more.
Okay. It looks like a timeout called by Gridlock.
Yeah, so maybe we see this heat already playing effect as the Gridlock take an early timeout. We have 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first quarter. Only one score so far.
It's been a long point already. A lot of back and forth.
And just kind of piggybacking off what you were saying, Dre, I think that even in the heat, it does take a little warming up to when you're playing out there on the field. So
these turnovers don't really look fatigue turnovers yet, right? They've been sort of some away shots, some really tight defense, not throwing your fakes. So maybe it's a little bit of mental fatigue, but in terms of physical fatigue, these turnovers are just kind of maybe early jitters, championship game, trying more stuff.
Jelly Krebs looking for Cassie Brown, finds Jenny DeJesus instead. The save there. Back to Valeria Cardenas, shooting deep. Looking for, I believe that's Nina Finley. And that's a break for the New York Gridlock.
And a lot of excitement here from Gridlock, and well-deserved as they get up on DC Shadow with a 2-0 lead.
Scoring the upwind break there from your D-line is really important. That's something we struggled with a bit yesterday. It was very much an upwind, downwind game. And we needed to convert some of those, so it's good that they have sort of the throwing power on their D-line to complete a lot of those.
Yeah, we're seeing 2 of DC's turnovers on those long throws, but in the end, we see the longer throw completed by Gridlock to get that upwind score. And that's going to be a critical thing for them to continue to get as this game goes on.
A great throw there from Valeria Cardenas, just one of the best throwers in the world right now, as the Gridlock gets set to pull this one downwind. So now the Shadow are going to have to work their way upwind in order just to hold.
That was a bit of a longer point, and there was a timeout though, but they are running back Carolyn Tornquist, Claire Trope, Carolyn Normile, so it's interesting that they're kind of running back that same squad.
See if it pays off as Manu's going to pull this one down. Really solid pull. It's going to bounce and roll right out the back of the end zone. Did it roll out of bounds before then is my question. Looks like it's going to come in on that front cone. Normal starting with the disc. Finds Turnquist, already being heavily involved so far today. Finds Perivier up the field. Perivier is going to shoot deep, looking for Trope. Covered by Manu. What a great matchup. And Manu comes down with the D.
All right, so now we've got New York Gridlock on their way to another break opportunity and going downwind this time.
Eli Pressberg with the disc. Swings to Manu, a little float. Claire Trope and Chase can't come down with it. Gridlock now working the disc. Cardenas pumps the deep shot.
Looking for that reset there now.
Little flick up line on the inside route. Interesting line to take, but it works out. Eli Pressberg going to throw a flick, looking for Nikki Hare. Ooh.
That was a nice look.
Just
nice break opportunity.
Just a little too far for Nikki Hare there. Shadow with yet another chance to hold here.
I was going to make a hair too far joke, but maybe that's a little bit too jab joke for the call.
I would have liked it. I think you should have went with it.
I will feel empowered to make more dad jokes on this call as we go along.
So Normal with the disc. Looks like a hand block there.
Yes.
Cassie Brown getting a piece of that one.
DC may be showing a little bit of nerves, not quite executing to the degree that we have seen in previous games.
Pressburg with the disc. Inside flick, little high again. Hare can't come down with it. Perhaps just a little high, a little too much pace.
Not a lot of patience in this downwind end zone so far. A lot of these turns are coming from same third, trying it, not really looking to switch the field, not looking to swing the disc. It's trying to push it in or shoot an away shot, and it shows that like the end zone motion has just not been there.
See Gridlock coming with a bit of a junky look. Shadow breaks it though. Claire Trope with the disc on the far side. Looking deep, another hand block. Wow.
That was a big one.
Wow.
Got a big piece of that. And that is getting the New York crowd very hyped up, and I think rightfully so.
Cassie Brown with the disc.
Try to get it off that sideline there. Or keeping it right in place, and
Up
up
to
it goes.
Pressburg. Again, another shot. Just like you said, Dre, just a little lack of patience there. Just trying to score quick and get off the field. So Shadow with another chance. Elisa Dang's going to grab this disc and start us off this time.
See Normal back in the reset space.
Nice inside shot. Rivier can't come down with it though.
That's an uncharacteristic, unforced error from Privier that we did not see yesterday. And yeah, I think DC might just be a little bit off their stride at the moment, looking to center themselves and really find their place in the game on the field.
Cassie Brown and Manuela Cardenas working it well. Manuela Cardenas finds number 26, Maria Belen Restrepo for the goal. Gridlock now up 3-0 with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the first quarter.
And this, I think, is the largest margin that DC has been down over the course of the season. I know that Portland Rising went up on them 2-0 in their game, the away game that they played there, but this is, I think, the largest margin that there has been a lead on for DC. And so DC, I think one of the things I mentioned yesterday was that they have not necessarily been tested. And we see here that big block, again, the big denial. And so DC is going to have to find something in themselves that they have not had to tap into yet this season.
Team's taking a heat break right now, so mandatory heat breaks at around the 6 to 5 minute mark whenever the score happens within that. So we'll see if this gives Shadow a chance to regroup and come back.
And we're going to take a little... Welcome back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania here at Vitus Field. I'd like to take this time to shout out Discraft. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. And we are here at the Philly Sports Complex at Drexel University, where we are thrilled to host the Premier Ultimate League Championship this weekend. This is yet another great opportunity to showcase Philadelphia as a leading destination for sporting events and welcome new visitors to our dynamic city. So we are coming to you live here after a short heat timeout. New York Gridlock are up 3-0 as Manuel Cardenas gets a set with the pull here. It's going to bounce and roll back to about half field, a little shy of half field. Annalise Peters, typically a D-line handler for the Shadow, starting us off here on O-line on this downwind point. It's number 42, Lizzie Laurie with the disc. Oh, through the hands of, I believe it's Aaron McCann. Gridlock looking for another break here early in the game. Lyra Cardenas going to throw a bailout huck. Nina Finley's in the deep space, but a great D there from McCann to get it back. Annalise Peters getting another chance here to set us off. Looking for Gentilette deep. What a grab! Gentilette on the end zone line, flips it in. I believe that's Florence Brooks with the goal.
Yep, that is first-year player Florence Brooks, and pulling it in from Gentilette, who had another impressive one-handed grab. She definitely had at least one of those yesterday as well.
Definitely the downwind that was, she just kind of put it out there. She's really able to run onto it. The downwind with a little more space is better from that far away, whereas some of their shots closer just weren't ready to land. But we've seen from Aaron McCann there, a lot of their players like Carolyn Tornquist and Aaron McCann have both turned it and then also gotten Ds in that same point. That's crucial in a game where you're going to cough up the disc, you have to get it back. And they've shown they can do that so far.
Yeah, lest you get, what is the term for it, walrused, when you lose the disc and then the person you're marking scores on you. It's the opposite of bookends. I have it known to be happening to me at different points in my career, much to my chagrin. But we will see Jackie Wong with the pull, with DC on defense for the first time this game. Or starting on defense the first time this game.
I think they pulled to start. Yep.
Okay.
Did a little roller pull. It'll go past half field. Valeria Cardenas is going to pick up. Immediately dumps to Gina Cartagena.
Nice around.
All the way over. We have Jenny DeJesus in the middle here. There's Jolie Krebs. Nice inside shot. Finds Gina Cartagena. Cartagena looking to the end zone. Couple cuts. Using her fakes. Finds DeJesus. Back to Cartagena.
Nice,
and this is where we see the Gridlock really shine. The small ball end zone looks as Valeria Cardenas reels that one in for another goal. Another break for New York. Or no, I'm sorry, that was a hold.
That was a hold, but I think New York really showing off their efficiency on offense. That is the sort of play that's really going to get them to keep this cushion that they have on Shadow, really being able to build and keep moving the disc with a lot of momentum. Keep that energy up, keep the spirits high, and keep that flow moving.
Just take another look here at this end zone set. Just another day. Just another
Chef's
day.
kiss. It is beautiful to see. And New York, I feel like, is winning the vibe war so far in the field by getting up early, by getting those really efficient movements, the really clean looks that a point like that has. And so DC is going to have to find their footing and really find their place on the field to be able to make their way back into this game. But it is early, and so anything could happen yet.
Yes, it is. 3 minutes, 11 seconds left in the first. Gridlock are up 4-1. Manuela Cardenas is going to get set to pull here. Going upwind. Another really nice pull. Lisa Dang getting set to pick up. Way to stop the first throw there. Finds Normile in the center. Nice little chip shot up to Perivier. Again, just a little too far.
I wonder if they're not taking the wind into account as much as they were yesterday. Everything's floating a little bit further.
Valeris will start Finds Manuela. Back to Valeria. Back to Manuela. Back to Valeria. I believe that is Emma Berrigan with the disc now. Finds Cassie Brown.
A lot of quick reset passes, keeping that possession alive.
Valeria looking deep. Gonna shoot. A little too far. Not sure if she was throwing it or aiming for Manuela, but I don't believe they were prepared for that.
But almost in the range, could have come down with it. I think a little bit of a difficult angle coming in over the head like that, but DC will now get the opportunity to get back downwind and take care of business.
Marge Walker with the disc. Nice around. Looking for Perivier again, and Perivier can't get a good enough read on it to come down with it. See another error here. Cassie Brown will start for the Gridlock.
A little bit of a short field here, even though it's upwind.
Manuela Cardenas on this close sideline, covered by Claire Trope. Looking for her sister in the end zone. Wow, Ritzman with a very nice D there. Looks like Valeria might have had a little misstep.
But Ritzman, a real incredible player on both sides of the disc, and so being able to keep stride with one of the best players in the world is not something everyone can be capable of. Here we see that again.
Shadow has some of the speed and is using their body really well. So we saw Carolyn Tornquist get a D on Valeria, and we've seen Kat Ritzman get a D on Valeria. They have a lot of quick defenders that are good at using their body and putting their body in the way. So that's actually a really good matchup for them.
That's the Perivier we know and love. She finds Claire Trope deep on the end zone line here with tons of Shadow players around. It'll be Claire Trope to Perivier for the goal. Shadow sort of stopping the bleeding here early on with 39 seconds left in the first. They're only down 2 now.
But it is not coming necessarily easy or fast, and so DC still has some margins to clean up if they want to be looking as efficient and as strong as they were yesterday and in other games that we've seen throughout the season. But again, this is, I think, the strongest test that we've seen so far for Shadow, and we'll be able to, again, see that really great block from Ritzman, and then a rip from Perivier to Trope, and then some magic in the end zone to make all of that come to light.
Props to Perivier there for, making a couple mistakes on that point, but, having to reach up and have another nice grab, and this time coming down with it and just immediately shooting deep, finding Claire Trope, and then scoring the goal herself.
Yeah,
Testament to her mental toughness.
I was going to say composure is going to be a key factor in this game.
Jackie Wong with the PUL line drive. This will be past half field.
Pretty good distance on that pull.
Valeria will start us off. Quick flip to Gina Cartagena. Allie Wallace on the mark. Ooh.
Now we see a little bit of a miscalculation from Gridlock, and so DC is going to have a chance to go upwind for a break.
Jackie Wong finds Cammie Groom in the middle. Good communication from this Gridlock defense with the switches there. And uncharacteristic job from Jackie Wong. Cartagena will start us off for the Gridlock. As time ends, but this is the last possession here. The PUL. Cardenas to Cartagena.
Looking for that around break. A lot of nice fakes there.
I think a foul was called here. As Valeria was cutting, it looks like she might have caught a elbow or a fist to the cheek.
It'll be on yours. 3, 2,
Doesn't
1,
affect the play, so Nina Finley will start it.
Finley maybe calling for disc space.
That or a fast count.
Okay. All right. And so I assume that we're going to say that's a foul uncontested, right? Coming in saying stalling 1 on your check.
You heard it there from our observers. Finley back to Cartagena. Nice break throw around, looking for Valeria. Cammie Groom almost getting there.
Hunting for that block.
Not in for Krabs, but a quick flip to Valeria, and that one will be another goal here as we close out this first quarter. Gridlock take the lead 5-2 in the Premier Ultimate League Championship game here.
I think this is exactly where Gridlock was hoping to be. Use their momentum, get up early, not let DC take the bit in their teeth and run off on them. And I think that Gridlock is proving through the work that they're putting on the field that they can keep getting those holds, keep staying up, and hopefully they're hoping to keep that cushion alive through the rest of the game.
And we're going to head to a quick break here at the end of the first. Gridlock up 5-2. We'll see you for the start of the second quarter. Welcome back here to Philadelphia. I'd like to take this time to thank our sponsor, Breakmark. This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab Shops. We'd also like to thank Friction Gloves, who is very excited to be a partner of the PUL and the official glove of Championship Weekend. Players around the league wear Friction Gloves, and they love seeing amazing plays made in their gloves week after week. They're thankful for the opportunity and look forward to expanding their partnership for the 2025 season.
Great. We're looking back down on the field now, and Valeria Cardenas with 2 goals, an assist, a block, and 1 turn already in this short period of time in the first quarter. I think that's involved in 3 of 5 of their goals. I think that's the triple threat in the stats that we were looking for. We'll ignore the turn for now. We got the observers taking the field. Who do we have in the observer squad today?
Yeah, our observers are Chris Vanny, Joe Campbell, John McGuire, and Ben DeForest. Shout out to them. A lot of them were here on double duty yesterday as well. As we all know, this game wouldn't be officiated properly or observed properly without them, so we thank them for that. As the teams get ready to take the field here, I believe Gridlock will be pulling downwind, so the DC Shadow will have to work upwind to hold here coming into the second quarter. Are there any adjustments you think the Shadow need to make or anything like that? I leave that question up to either of you.
I think primarily DC is beating themselves at the moment. They're making mistakes that are not characteristic of the top level of their play. And I think what's good about that for them is that those things can be corrected. What's hard about that is that they have to find it within themselves to do that. And so calming down the nerves, really grounding themselves in trusting each other, trusting themselves, I think they have to be in the right mindset to come into the second quarter.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would say they just need to both of their lines or all of their lines need to not give the disc back, especially if they start with it or if they get it on a turn, because Gridlock's conversion and efficiency has been really high. So if we're going to give them the disc, they're going to convert, is what they've shown so far.
Yep, it's Manuela Cardenas with the pull. This one inbounds. Bumps and rolls. Normile will pick up, center it to Lisa Dang. Back to Normile. Back to Dang. Back to Normile. Crafty little break throw there. We find Ritzman. All of their offense is taking place on that far side of the field. Let's see if they can open it up. As they try and do so, pops that throw up. Cassie Brown comes down with it.
That's one of the mistakes where, again, I don't think that was a forced error. That was something that DC really missed a little bit on their execution.
Pressburg with the disc on the far sideline, looking for Manuela. Goes over her head. And for the goal, we have, I want to say it's Maria Belen Restrepo, but I'm not too sure. Couldn't see the number.
But that's going to be a problem for DC, as Gridlock is now up 6-2 on DC Shadow. Giving away a short field like that for, again, as you mentioned, the conversion rate that Gridlock has had is something that will continue to plague DC unless they are able to fix those miscues and be able to hone in on their execution a little bit finer.
And part of that is wind too, so a lot of the coin flip, right, that just floated. That's a pretty normal throw, any other conditions. So the coin flip here seemed to be somewhat impactful with the upwind, downwind, but teams have struggled getting at least off of the end zone going upwind so far. Once they've broken past half field, they can get it, but that initial start has been rough.
You see Manuela Cardenas getting set to pull here. I've noticed that she always gives the disc a little kiss before she pulls it. Call that throwing with love.
We all have our pre-shot routines, and so a little style, a little flair. We love to see it.
Nice pull here. It's going to float well past half field. I believe that's Sour Beer starting us off.
Bit of a pull play it looks like here. Some action.
Unmarked. O with the disc on the far side. Back to Sour Beer, who is now marked by Cardenas. Looking deep for Amanda Murphy. Layout. Oh.
Unable to reel that in. So here we go with Gridlock with another opportunity to get a break, going upwind. Has the whole field to work through, but has shown that they are perfectly capable of making that happen.
Nina Finley with the disc, dumps to Valeria. Valeria finds Emily Wong. Nice find there to hit number 21, Montana Roberts. Back to Valeria.
Oh, looking big. I think that's going to be a little bit past the intended receiver.
So deep shot there. I think I wouldn't mind seeing Amanda Murphy pick up the disc and just getting it started to kind of set the pace right now. It seems like the Gridlock are kind of doing a lot of dictating on defense.
And DC has been successful in the past when they've been able to work in transition, but we see a nice block from
Montana Roberts there on the block, a little run-through block.
On that pass intended for Jess Sourbeer, and Gridlock is going to have another opportunity, starting about 2/3 of the field left.
Nina Finley with the disc, finds Valeria. Back to Finley.
Shadow runs a little bit of a bracket poach, as you can see they just did there. They definitely did that to us yesterday. And when there's a vertical stack, they like to put people on the open side. So that is stalling a lot of Gridlock's offense and hurting them from getting more vertical yards and taking more vertical space. They will send 2 defenders on one, and the stack is not really ready to react to that. So they've used that to their advantage a couple times all season. We saw it in their scouting. We saw it against us yesterday, and then here it is today in some of this play too.
All right, another big look, and we've got Jenna Lett on the mark, but I think
Whistle's blown. I want to say it's a timeout called here by Gridlock.
I think you are right.
So that'll be, it's what, 2 timeouts a half?
Yes, and so they have used up both of their timeouts. But I think, given the situation, right on the doorstep, looking to get an upwind break, this seems like as good time as ever to use one.
Yeah, I agree. And you also have a heat timeout coming up soon as well. So I think you're okay with burning your last timeout here. And then kind of...
Yeah, DC is looking in the huddle here to really try to finish things up a little bit. And we've seen a lot of turnovers from this DC squad that we haven't seen really much this season. And so with these execution errors, the DC Shadow is trailing and has been really struggling, I think, to find their footing over the course of this game so far.
They certainly played a much cleaner game yesterday and did not have nearly as many turnovers, especially as widespread. It's multiple people right now on Shadow. It's multiple lines, it's handlers, it's cutters, receivers. It's sort of very distributed, which they did
reset
not
space,
have yesterday.
deep space. You're right. It's really been a sort of a full team phenomena.
As Valeria will tap us in live here. Dumps back to Cartagena. Krebs and DeJesus. Wow, Krebs with a great layout grab. Immediately pointing to the end zone. Finds Valeria on a nice inside shot. Valeria with a cheeky little backhand. That's a goal. And a huge spike there from the Gridlock. Wow. Statement has been made.
Well, I think the statement is being made in this lead that they've accumulated over the course of the 1.5 quarters that we've seen. We see Gridlock up 7-2 on Shadow, and Shadow really needing to get to work and just find that connectivity. Seems like they're lacking that spark that really seemed to light them up yesterday. And
it's that replay of that grab again from Jolie Krebs. And that's number 66, Janine Hlavity, Mercer County Ultimate Disc League legend, Janine Hlavity. And also New York Gridlock legend as well. Has been there from the jump.
We love a local legend, though.
It does not seem like the fatigue or the lower roster numbers is getting to Gridlock right now. I know I said that in the beginning. They have a much smaller roster than any other team in the league. They've rostered fewer people for every game. And I think they're just maybe used to that at this point. They've played with small numbers. They haven't had a ton of subs, and they don't look fatigued or too tired right now. They're converting at a good rate. We'll see if that can continue. It's still early.
It is early, but I imagine the adrenaline from being up this early is contributing to some of the excitement on the field. And when you have that momentum, it can be really exhilarating to be out there.
DC Shadow looking to work upwind here and going to work very quick. 5 passes have already taken place. Jackie Wong is going to find, looking for number 4.
I think that was looking for
Ellen Mueller, yes. Just a little too quick. Cassie Brown with the disc.
All right, and here we have Gridlock looking to score again, this time in the downwind direction. Making quick work.
Yep. Eli Pressburg with the disc. Another popped up backhand. Cammie Groom's going to come down with this one. Shadow with another chance to hold here. Cammie Groom again in the center of the field. Finds Jackie Wong. Now we see a little bit of this small ball movement from Shadow. It's number 46, Graham Cunningham with the disc. Finds her bailout, Allie Wallace. Wallace to an open Groom. Groom to Wong, little too short, too low, and Gridlock off to the races. And I'm thinking that might have been a travel call.
It was a pick.
Pick?
Pick, yep.
Okay. So Manuela will start with the disc. Over to Cassie Brown.
Oh, looking
Looking
for a
deep.
big gainer. Oh, that's an unfortunate trip up, and
It's
Gridlock is out alone in the deep space, but Emma Jones is able to catch up.
There's Estelle Ding on that deep cut there. She dumps it back to Eli Pressburg. Pressburg with
boy.
another floaty backhand. Allie Wallace gets a hand on it, but it's Nikki Hare with a saving grab, full extension layout. But Allie Wallace there to snatch away the goal. And again, Shadow going off to the races, realizing they have to kind of pick the pace up if they want to come back in this game. You got to score quick here as time is starting to tick down. 6 minutes left. Wallace to Groom. Groom back to Wallace. Mueller's running deep. Decides not to throw it there.
Really patient decision there from Wallace. It was probably very tempting, but on a long point, that's a really risky shot. Although Shadow not getting done the reset space either. So
yeah, at this point, maybe you should have. I think I do think you should try and attack the deep space a little more. Sure, you don't have great matchups, going against the Gridlock's defense, giving them all the props they deserve, but you got to test them at the very least. As Manuela Cardenas works it up the field.
Yeah, if DC is just limiting themselves to the small ball game and not looking to stretch the field, then Gridlock can just take advantage of that and really sort of push them in.
Kessa Brown looking deep for Pressburg.
All alone.
Wide open. Gridlock take the lead 8-2 with just under 5 minutes left in the game.
Well, this half.
In this half, I'm sorry. Good call.
I think we're all getting a little excited by the lead that New York has right now and by the energy that they're showing on the field. Just a real stark differences, as you can see from the press box at least. The energy coming from the two different sides. DC really looking to each other, trying to find their spark, find those pieces of connection, really dig deep. And Gridlock, I think, just having a good time. And I don't know about you all, but when you're on a team that's flowing and moving like that, it is a hard thing to stop.
Yeah, we went through this yesterday. We got off to a weaker start, and Shadow had a lead early, and we were trying to chip away at it all game and just could not get close enough to come back. We were within, 2 or 3 in the first quarter, and I think we played them even after, but in the fourth quarter we were actually tied with them, so this early lead can be a really big deal for them.
And welcome back. We're coming to you live here at the Vitus Sports Complex here at Drexel University. The New York Gridlock seem to have a firm grasp on this game here in the championship game for the Premier Ultimate League. So far, it's been all Gridlock all day on both sides of the ball, and we've seen the DC Shadow just making a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes that are really penalizing them pretty harshly here. As we see, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think in previous games, they've really relied on the fact that they've been able to get the disc back, but they're playing against a Gridlock team that when the disc is turned over, that Gridlock is able to capitalize and make those break chances and those conversions happen for them. And so I think this is where we see this game become just as much of a mental game as a physical one. DC has to stay in it mentally in order to make their way back or get left in the dust.
Another big floaty pool for Manuela Cardenas allows her defense to get set. As we see a little junk look here from Nina Finley on the mark and De Jesus sagging. Lisa Dang with the disc now. Dang to Marge Walker. Finds Normal on this close sideline here. Up to Privier. Privier over the top. Finds Trope. Manuela just unable to get there in time. And quick work from the shadow with a nice layout grab.
That's from Claire France.
Claire France with a great grab. So Shadow able to march down quick. That's the type of efficiency that their offense will have to have throughout the rest of this game to keep them in it. But now it's defense's turn. You have to somehow find a way to stop this Gridlock offense.
Claire's been on this squad for a couple years. She travels from Kansas City to play for Shadow, so I don't know how many practices she gets to, but a veteran on this team at this point. I believe it's her second year, and it's pretty cool that they have someone that travels from the Midwest or all the way out there that comes for Shadow and can come and make an impact. I've played Masters with her, really great teammate, so understand why you'd take her from out there, but yeah, it's cool to see her do well and not be a totally DC living bred player.
Seem to be a lot of teams with that sort of approach to the structure of their team, bringing in players from different states, different countries if you're the Gridlock. It's very cool to see as we get to watch the highest level the Premier Ultimate League has to offer here today. It's Annalise Peters with the pull. We haven't seen this DC Shadow D-line in quite a bit on defense, at the very least. As Valeria starts, dumps to Cartagena. Immediately looking to that break side. Hits the mark. That's Jolene Zhang. Zhang to Cardenas. All the way over to Cartagena on the far side. Really using the full width of the field well. Shooting for Krebs. Ooh, just out of the reach.
Nice pressure there from Caroline Turnquist.
Krebs had her fingertips on it.
Again, with that downwind speed, it seems like anything that you send down there, if it touches the fingertips, it's going to blast away.
Normal looking break side immediately finds Gentilette.
Stack looking a little messy.
Gentilette going to shoot deep, but Valeria's there to stop it. Great positioning. No foul called or anything like that. Immediately Valeria picks up. Off to the races, finds Cartagena.
Looking reset here. Oh boy.
I don't know if that one was legal. Cartagena threw it. Did someone get a hand on it that wasn't her?
The observer for the ruling. The observer ruling is that it was not touched while it was in the air, so that's an illegal catch, an illegal pass. Therefore, it is a turnover on this spot. So we're just going to put it on the ground now. And so you're the new defense. So you'll restart. Thank you. You'll restart play by touching the ground. You'll make us live.
So you heard our observer there clarifying things for us. It wasn't touched in the air. We'll have to get a replay on that later on. Shadow looking to work the disc here as Peters hits Groom. Contested there from good contest from Jolene Zhang. Groom over to Normal and just a drop. Just a drop.
Yeah, we're seeing DC making more than their fair share of those, and looks like there is a pick, although Gridlock has caught that pass and so will retain possession. Let's see where, yep, we're live now.
Glavity with the disc. Has De Jesus going deep. Goes for Krebs on the dump. Krebs to Cartagena. Up to Cardenas. Cartagena with the disc. Cartagena.
DC clamping down, stall count getting high, but they're able to find another receiver downfield.
It's Nina Finley. Oh, sliding grab attempt from Krebs. Can't come down with it.
DC has to go now upwind the whole length of the field, starting in a difficult corner, but hopefully able to get some movement off that line.
Spicy flick from Peters up to Groom. Groom centers back to Peters. Has a wide open receiver, but the throw just isn't there, that upwind direction. Really throwing directly into the wind there with that flick. Cartagena with the disc. Finds Flavity. Back to Cardenas. Over to De Jesus.
Looks like a stoppage of play again.
Pick called. This is quite the matchup here. Gentilette and De Jesus.
Be on your check.
Very interesting matchup. Should be fun to watch as we see them tap it live. Quick flip to Krebs. Another uncharacteristic drop here, and Amanda Murphy is streaking deep. But DC Shadow handlers taking their time, walking up to the disc instead. Looks like a timeout here called.
I think with the point getting longer, it might be good to rotate in some fresh legs. DC wants this opportunity to get upwind, get that score in the more remote end zone that we've seen less action in. And I think being able to use the depth of their talent and of their roster and continue to try to keep people fresh is going to be one of the advantages that DC can have as this game pushes further into the time.
So 32.7 seconds left here in the first half. Just like the first quarter ended, this quarter will also end with last possession ultimate as we take a look here at the ultimate, the PUL champions here. This year we will be crowning a new champion. One of these teams will be a champion for the first time in their history, although if the Gridlock win, both the Cardenas sisters will have another championship on their hands.
All right, getting back to the field, we have Marge Walker with the disc.
Pressberg on the mark. Standard vert from Shadow. Looks like Turnquist is going to cut from the front, get that one. Finds Trope in continuation.
Cami Groom was looking for that pass, but not coming. Oh, that was a good save by Lisa Dang.
Privier just throwing that one into the dirt, into the turf. Another just a quick, those little lapses of focus. You know, you don't step all the way out on your throws. You don't have the right angle on your throw. In a windy day like this, it's really going to hurt you.
Buzzer goes off, and so Gridlock will retain possession through the end of this point, which will end like that.
From our view up here right now, you can see that there are a couple Gridlock players sitting under a tent, under a shade tent. There's a bunch of tents along their sideline. There was 3 or 4 of them just sitting under a table. They've since dispersed, but maybe that heat and fatigue is playing in, especially after the second quarter now. And we have not really seen Shadow run over and kind of take the shade tent. So maybe Gridlock's feeling it more now.
Yeah.
So we take a look at some of these turnovers from this point. Just, yeah, what you think is a routine catch and throw, continuation throws can be, a little harder in heat, which I assume can only be 140 degrees on this turf here at Vitus Field in Philadelphia. We're going to take a break. We'll be back here for second half action of the Premier Ultimate League Championship between the New York Gridlock and the DC Shadow. Hello and welcome back to Vitus Field here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are going to take this time to interview one of the New York Gridlock coaches, Brittany Taylor. Brittany, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Sean Dacey. I'm here with Dre DeSabato and Elaine Young. How are you feeling right now? Your team has a very good lead. You got to feel good going into the second half. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, we're always watching our backs and staying vigilant. It's only half a game. We know DC's super talented and can definitely claw back in it. So yeah, happy that we've built a little lead the first half. Trying to play smart, trying to conserve where we can, but capitalize on their turnovers. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you did for this matchup specifically? Were you anything you were game planning for that has happened or not?
Yeah, I think we wanted to take a couple of the bigger matchups that we know they like to look to, like to hit, put our best matches on those, try to figure that out early in the game rather than later, and then really just work through a certain few matchups that we could get that we think would win each time too.
Great. How do you keep this energy up? The team is really excited, is very lively, has a lot going for them. How do you make sure that that goes strong throughout the second half?
Yeah, that's always a battle, but I think that mostly comes from inside the players themselves and what they want to give to today. I think we just tried to spend a lot of time building confidence going into this game. We knew it would be our toughest game of the season, one that we had hoped for and looked forward to. So we're privileged and lucky to be playing in it and trying to soak in that moment and really take that to heart.
Brittany, I have another question for you. We've seen the DC Shadow turning the disc over an uncharacteristic amount. Do you think that's in part to your game plan that took place, your preparation, and do you feel that your defense is working effectively, or do you think it is more mainly just miscues on their end?
Maybe a combination. I mean, there's got to be nerves on both sides. We respect them definitely to the highest regard, but they're also playing in a big game, their biggest of the season too, probably to this point. So I'm sure there are a bit of nerves there on their side as well. We're encouraging our matchups. We're trying to keep the sideline engaged and high so that we can give that energy from off-field to on-field.
Very good. Thanks so much, Brittany. We'll let you get back to it as we are going to head to another break, I believe. Good luck out there in the second half.
Cool. Thanks, y'all.
And we'll just take a look at some of the stats here so far for this game. Anything that stand out to y'all?
I think the main thing that's jumping out to me is the fact that Shadow has 21 turnovers and Gridlock has 18, which isn't a fully different amount, but if you look at those break chances and the breaks, that tells a totally different story about what's been happening between these two teams.
And we're going to head to break here. We'll see you back here live for the second half. welcome back to Vitus Field here. We have another interview lined up for you. We have Coach John Agan from the DC Shadow. John, I'm Sean Dacey. I'm here with Dre DeSabato and Lane Young. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling good. Great day to be out here. Two great teams, and this is the game we came to play.
Absolutely. Bit of a rough start here. I'm wondering myself, does playing in a game later in the evening yesterday, does that kind of add any fatigue to the team today?
It's possible. You know, the playing a game in the heat yesterday was tough for all the teams that were involved. So we definitely knew that was going to be a challenge. Worked to get hydrated and try to get rested today. I think the players were feeling pretty good this morning, and we're just excited to get back out there.
In terms of your game plan coming into this game versus now at halftime, what you tell your team, how did that change, or what's the shift that you're playing with right now?
You know, we didn't see this team at all during the regular season, so we can watch them on film, and then seeing them out here and what they're doing in the first half is a whole different experience, right? So I think we have some adjustments we can make. We've hung our hat on our defense all season long, and so I think we are confident that we can get back out there and make plays and get ourselves back into this game.
How do you get a team like this that has been so successful to really bring that mental focus and clarity into the second half of this game?
We have talked all season about trying to keep our focus and energy at an even keel for all 4 quarters. We talked before this game, right? This is going to be our biggest challenge yet, and the most important thing is that we stay together and we stay focused on what we've been successful at throughout the season. So we just need to lean on that infrastructure, lean on what we've worked together to build all season, and we'll be fine.
Any other questions from y'all?
No, I think that's it. We've got players taking the field, and so we'll let you get back to coaching.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, John.
All right, we see DC and New York on the field right now getting ready to start the second half. So we've heard from both coaches, but I would be interested to hear from both of you. What do we think that DC might pull out in the second half in order to get that energy shift?
Well, I'll tell you right now, the one thing that I'm noticing is that I'm seeing DC players on the far sideline by the stands, and I think that is an attempt to kind of better communicate with their teammates that are on the field. Maybe perhaps having an extra voice on that far sideline can really help get an extra D, or you know what I'm saying, like some kind of stop some of that stuff. We'll see what else they try and pull out here as this game goes on. But that's just one thing I've noticed.
To me, DC isn't taking a ton of bad shots. They're sort of a lot of different turns and spread out. I wouldn't tell them to change their game, maybe a little bit of their focus, maybe an extra second, an extra snap on some throws, but they're playing in a different direction this half, so we'll see how that factors in. But, you know, I think with not a ton of clock left, that's sort of the debate is, do you stay conservative or do you have to take shots, because you need to now make up a 5-goal deficit, and as the clock runs, it's harder to do as the game goes on. We felt that very much last night in our game.
As Marie Perivier gets set to pull here, going downwind for the Shadow. This one looks like it'll roll, but it'll stay in bounds. Magda's Hlavity.
Oh boy.
This one's gonna roll way out the back of the end zone. What a pull.
That's a great way for DC to start the second half.
Yeah,
trying to stop that with your foot is an interesting move. The move would normally be, get down, use your hands, get on the floor, put your body behind it, and stop the pull, especially in your different wind direction for the second half.
Cartagena starts with the disc, finds Cardenas. And it looks like a pick is called. So the players just get back into their positions when the pick was called.
It was pretty much immediate. So staying six.
Okay, Stahl's coming in on 6. Cardenas to Cartagena. Up the field to Hlavity. Quick flip, a little too far there for Gina Cartagena.
The upfield defensive pressure there was really good. A lot of those throws did not have a continue cut for them.
Ooh.
Oh, but Gentelet's there to save the day.
Turnquist looking for Trope, but was she actually looking for Gentelet in the end zone? I don't know, but that's what happened, and it's a goal for the Shadow. Good start for this second half here as they come out and break early.
That is what DC probably was drawing up in their game plan to some extent, to be able to get a break on this first possession, or on this first point, and to be able to come back and try to make good on this deficit that they have. And we're going to hopefully see some more energy coming from DC Shadow. I feel like it's hard. I feel like you can come out a little bit flat in the game when you're not necessarily executing well, and they're going to really need to be putting their energy behind them. But a great catch like that from Gentillette that we just saw can really help inject some energy.
I'm someone who thinks that defensive pressure actually kind of starts with the pull and the process of getting down on the pull, and we see how a pull like that, you might miss the stopping the roll there, but the defense is set. You're on the front of your end zone as opposed to 20 yards out. It's a totally different game there for the defense when you're able to set yourself up like that for success, and we see that it pays off. As Annalise Peters will get set to pull here. Shadow looking to make another break. This time going upwind, nice high floaty pull. Valeria, the first one to the disc. Over to Krebs.
It's a bit of a travel there by Valeria, and we know that I've seen her do it as a player, and it every time that there's sort of a centering pass or that motion there, it's an extra couple steps. It does not get called very much, but it is something that we notice, and it happens like very slightly, but it is pretty noticeable. It doesn't always get a huge advantage, but that extra step happens so frequently.
Interesting. I never noticed, but I'll be looking out for it now. Slavity has the disc. Looking for Krebs on the bailout. Nice put there.
Just out to space, a lot of trust. Oh, and speaking of puts, oh no. Jesus getting a little bit tripped up there, it seems.
It's like a little leg lock. I think she's admitting that maybe she wouldn't have had a play on the disc as that one sailed out the back. So no call is made. Now DC Shadow looking to break upwind.
Here we'll see that again. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Yeah, just getting a little bit tripped up there in the legs, and so DC having the full length of the field to go.
Annalise Peters on the far side looking flick. This one's going to bend back. Can Cami Groom get there? No. Annalise Peters so far not having a lot of success throwing flicks deep up into that wind as another pick is called here. Players just deciding whether or not the pick affected play. Looks like it did. It'll go back to Gina Cartagena.
Do we have a stall at all here? Okay, you want to be saying 2? Okay, coming in saying stalling 2. Say 3, 2, 1, disc in.
And we're live. Cartagena with the disc. Valeria open on the inside shot. Quick dishy back to Cartagena.
Well, Lisa Dang really close there on that defensive pressure.
De Jesus with the disc. Really good at moving the mark. Hits Cardenas over to Krebs. Krebs with a nice.
Wow, look at that.
Beautiful throw there. Perfect amount of touch. Finds Gina Cartagena for the goal.
And that's the kind of quick movement that we've seen from Gridlock, where they've been able to work in the backfield in some small spaces and then let loose a little bit and find someone further downfield to secure the point.
As the Gridlock extend their lead up 9-4. There's 8 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the third quarter. DC Shadow getting set to receive.
Let's see that again.
Downwind as we look at this replay. It's a really nice throw here.
Again, you mentioned the touch, and the touch on that just right into the bread basket. And going, again, we've seen that some of the throws going downwind go out the back, go a little bit too far, and that one had just the right amount of energy on it to get to where it needed to go.
3 assists from Krebs so far this game. Huge impact player for the Gridlock. Look to see more from her as we continue on.
All right, DC looking to get a hold downwind. We have Manuela Cardenas getting ready to pull. And off we go.
Another great pull going upwind there. Lisa Dang will pick up, finds Marge Walker. Quick centering pass. Over to Marie Privier. Up the field to Trope. Good movement so far from the shadow. Centered back to Walker. Walker will find Ritzman all the way on this close sideline. Back to Walker. Walker to Dang. Now really using this close side really well, but a throw just inside of Privier can't be completed. Gridlock are off to the races again.
Yeah, they are moving quickly on those transitions and not giving DC much of a time for their defense to get set up. And so looking for a reset here.
As Krebs finds Manuela Cardenas. Valeria with a great layout grab. It's called up. Wow. Looks like Trope might be calling it down.
Yep,
but it
play
is
is live,
up,
called
so
up
we're
by the
back
observers.
live. Pressburg back to Cartagena. Cartagena to Pressburg. Had Cassie Brown open, decides better. Decides not to throw. Instead hits DeJesus with another nice layout grab. Manu with the disc.
A nice switch there.
Back to Valeria, back to Manu, back to Valeria.
Oh, wow.
Dre's signaling travel again. This disc will sail over Cartagena's head. Finds Krebs in the end zone. Looks like there is some sort of discussion being had on the field. Dre says travel. Are other people saying travel?
Most importantly, what are the observers going to rule in this situation?
Looks like they're signaling some kind of foul. Okay, so it looks like it's Privier and Cartagena here as we take a look at this replay and see if we can see anything. We just see Gina wide open in the space.
Yeah.
We don't see what happened beforehand.
Okay.
They're discussing it.
In general, a foul is going to be the fault of the player who initiated contact with the other player.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so this is a retracted foul. The result of the play is a goal.
There you have it, retracted foul. It is a goal. Krebs with an emphatic spike to celebrate. Gridlock extend their lead 10-4, 6 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third quarter here.
And thanks to, again, to our observer crew for being here as a resource to the players as they think through the different plays on the field. It's great to have such a wealth of information in each of these, and I, as someone who has done some observing, I would encourage anyone out there who has an inkling of desire to get involved to check it out. The sport needs people. And so let's take a look around what that layout from DeJesus. That's a hard one to see.
It's Valeria Cardenas. Here
Slow
we
it
go.
down.
Yeah.
The ground might have assisted with the catch. It's hard to say.
I know Claire Trope on there was saying it looked like it slipped out of the sort of clap catch into the ground. It did look there like she did have a point, and it
I think so as well.
Might have come out for a second. She did not maintain possession through the entire catch and through absorbing the hit on the ground.
But that's all easier said and done when we're up here with a slow-mo review. But here we go.
Normal stops this roll here with her foot this time successfully. Her and O working the disc up. O now patiently finds Normal again. Good fake, leaves Cassie Brown wondering where that disc went. Finds Allie Wallace. Wallace to O.
I feel like DC's motion, they're looking like they don't necessarily trust what they're doing. And I think they're a little bit shaken up by the first couple quarters that we've had so far. And it's hard to see a DC team not looking as composed, although this is looking like a pretty good possession so far, knocking on wood.
Normal with the disc on this close sideline finds, I believe that's Annalise Peters. Back to Normal, and again, just an inside throw that's a little too inside.
There's a bit of a high-low situation going on the field, too. So the side closest to most of the players and where the teams are standing seems to be the higher side of the field, and they might want to play over there versus the side towards the stands is the low side.
Wow.
And more turnovers are coming over there.
Pressburg with a deep shot to Estelle Ding. Great grab.
Looks like we might have an injury call.
Oh, yep. Looks like Pressburg hobbling off.
Hobbling but moving, so good to see that there's not anything more severe, but hopefully that gets addressed.
Here's this replay. Great throw. Great grab, though.
That was
wow.
an incredible grab. Right in front of the body like that,
Yeah,
over the head.
I think Pressburg just kind of had a little calf cramp there.
Yeah.
As they are now working that out for them.
Hold on, there's still some movement.
So Estelle Ding with the disc here to start.
Give us a loud 3, 2, 1 disc in when you're both ready. Timeout call!
An immediate timeout call from the Gridlock upon tapping it in. With 5 minutes and 19 seconds left here in the third. Looking to extend their lead to 11-4. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you back here for the rest of this quarter. Welcome back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're here at the Vitus Sports Complex. We just want to take this time to let you know that this live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. That's premierultimateleague.com. As the Cardenas Twister sisters start us off here, coming out of the timeout, looking for Nina Finley. That's going to be a goal.
And that is a goal, despite Jackie Wong's bidding attempts there. And I would say that New York is running away with this game, if I haven't said it yet. But we are within 5:03 of the end of the third quarter, and Gridlock has put up a sizable margin on DC Shadow and the energy has not turned yet.
Gridlock has not really stopped taking certain shots, too. They've been playing pretty assertively and aggressively. They're not letting the wind factor in. They're not really letting DC's tighter, a little bit under pressure defense stop them either.
We take a look at a replay here. We'll see Nina Finley with this cut here.
In the front of the stack there, going up the line.
Just one step, the other direction.
We actually saw Jackie Wong get that D on us yesterday, a really, really impressive D, laying out that exact one, although she actually connected on the D in our game yesterday, but similar play, just making really good attempts there. Very clean and safe also. Must praise that when you can, because you don't often see it. So, but we saw Wong get that exact D yesterday. It's just not fallen in their favor today.
So we are here for another heat timeout, despite having a team call a timeout. One thing I'd like to touch on is it feels like the Gridlock are applying pressure on offense. So with their cuts and their quick movement, it kind of feels like they're putting the DC's defense kind of on their heels, whereas, you know, ideally as a defensive coach or a player, you want to be the one applying the pressure to the offense. It feels a little backwards right now, and I think it's obviously working out very well for the Gridlock. We have some highlights from last year's Premier Ultimate League final between the Raleigh Radiants and the New York Gridlock. So the Gridlock have been in this position before. Dre, is there anything you think that, you know, is maybe the reason why the Gridlock are so much better this year than they were last year, or are they performing so much better? Is there anything you can speak to on that?
Certainly added some star power. They have both Cardenas sisters. They have Jolie Krebs not on the team last year. 3 really high impact players. So that is very key, and that's a lot of their generation this year. I also think they're still have enough veterans that it's a good mix of star power added and veterans that have played on this team and played with each other for a while that have some of that chemistry. A lot of these players also play club together with Exist, and so they kind of bring, there's bent players too, but I think they sort of bring that, we play together all year round, we know how to play, and then you add in a mix of really highly talented players, and it's a good formula.
Yeah. And I know I was talking a little bit to the Gridlock team beforehand, and they were saying that their physio squad that they bring to their games has been a key part of keeping them healthy, helping them recover. And so let's get into the DC huddle.
Shadow on 3, 1, 2, 3, shadow!
Doing a little bit of a breathing exercise there, it looked like, trying to maybe calm down, recenter.
Yeah, these catches and throws are things they've done dozens, hundreds, I would say, times before, and they have to shake it off and make sure that they are executing on the things that they know are well within themselves. They're a very capable team, they're a talented team, and they need to remember that and be able to dig into it as the third quarter presses on. I would say that if DC is going to mount a comeback, they've got to get on that horse and start riding pretty hard.
Dre, you played with AMP for a number of years, and you've had, I feel like there's been times where you've made massive comebacks to win games, right? Is there any that kind of stand out to you, and is there anything that you can maybe provide to the audience about what it takes to make such a steep comeback and what you need to do?
Yeah, so it's a very different in a timed game versus club. So
Sure.
you're playing to a score, where here it's timed. So the ability to come back at a huge deficit is changed significantly by the Premier Ultimate League format. However, a lot of the common things, it's not usually some really big strategy change. It's sort of knowing when to tighten up, knowing when to play loose, finding that mixture and balance, and doing it efficiently in a way that you kind of keep trusting your players, you also probably need some highlight plays too. So it's a little bit of everything to kind of get back in a game like this.
Certainly. As Manuela Cardenas pulls this one out of bounds. Marge Walker will start us off in the center. About 4.5 yards short of half field. Groom starting her cut early. Same with Trope. Just really good job clearing out the space, but good defense from Gridlock. Kind of recover there. Trope will get the disc on the far side. Trope finds Walker on the up line. Doesn't connect. A little bit of contact, but there's no call. So Pressburg will pick up the disc.
It's another really tight window instead of looking to switch the field. They're just looking right downfield. I know the up line can get you a power position, but not a lot of field switching.
See a shot from Cassie Brown go up deep by Marge Walker. Finds Peruvier on this close sideline, what we have been calling the high side. Walker has an open Lisa Dang. Up the field to Turnquist. Pressburg might have had a chance on that one if their head was turned.
Okay, Marge saving that one.
Yep, Walker finds wide open Trope. About 5 yards out from the end zone. Inside flick to Amanda Murphy, and that's a goal for the Shadow. Gets them on the board here in the third quarter. 11-5, Gridlock still up. 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in the third.
DC looking a little more energetic as they're coming off the field. I see some high fives. I see some smiles, and so that's a good sign that they might be able to, again, stay in that mental game, keep chipping away, keep their heads up, and keep really holding on to that belief that anything can happen. And so let's see that throw again from that missed throw from Claire Trope to Marge Walker, and then we see the block from Walker coming right back. And then Trope to Amanda Murphy in the end zone. So you see Trope staying, I believe, out there for another point. It looks like we've got some returners to that line. Seeing Cami Groom out there, Carolyn Turnquist, Kat Ritzman, Lisa Dang, Ellie Wallace.
So we do seem to see DC kind of tightening up their lines, whereas their entire season they've used a more fluid approach, as you mentioned earlier. But it's crunch time now, down 6 points. You still have time to make this comeback, as Marmol will pull this one.
It's a great pull.
Great pull going upwind. Let's see if Valeria travels here. Yes or no, Dre?
No, I don't think that's in.
Okay. Cartagena with the disc.
Looking for a reset.
Finds Cardenas.
A lot of downfield pressure, I think, on those options. A lot of reset motion here.
Yeah, a little stagnation from the Gridlock.
But I think they're in a groove. They're willing to make those short passes in the backfield to be able to open up some gainers like we've just seen.
Really good communication from the handlers to the cutters, kind of directing traffic, if you will. As this throw is blown down into the ground by the wind.
Yeah, that was just not quite the right touch on that particular throw into a pretty narrow window.
Oh, speaking of narrow windows, Lisa Dang with an inside shot to Ritzman. Who caught this one first? It's Ritzman or Finley. They're discussing it right now.
Looks like the observers are going to come in to assist.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it until I see a replay.
We're going to wait for those cones to get dealt with, so stay where you are.
The rule.
The observer ruling is that Dark had the disc first. Okay, so it's going to be your disc right here with a 3, 2, 1, disc is live, okay?
Here's the replay. Tough to see yet. We don't have great angle there, but it does look like Ritzman ripped it out of Finley's hands. Perhaps Finley had it first. Finley with the disc now.
High
Backhand
release.
around. 2 players there.
I think almost 3.
I believe that's Janine Hlavity with the catch in the end zone. Is it a goal yet? Looks like there was a discussion.
I can't quite tell if those are goal arms or pick arms. I think they are goal arms.
Yeah, so that's a goal.
Little kick spike.
This Gridlock team firing on all cylinders right now. 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the third quarter. They're up 12-5.
Yeah, just really coming into their own when they need it. Not that they haven't performed incredibly well throughout the season. I mean, they've been undefeated, but really being able to come into this championship game with all that fire in their bellies and being able to just have all the pieces come together at the right time. I mean, that has to be such a good feeling.
Here's another replay. It's a little laggy.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I do think
Really
Finley.
close.
That's close, but I do think Finley got to that disc first.
Yeah, let's take another look. Super slow-mo. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it is very close, and I can see how Ritzman, especially with the tilt towards offense on a jump ball, would have thought that that could have come in. But we see almost 3 Gridlock players available for that pass, and so they will come down with that point.
Very cool alley-oop kick spike. As the Gridlock pulled this one, they're able to get their defense set. DeJesus on the mark. Sour Beer finds Walker.
DeJesus crossing over here has played pretty strictly Gridlock's offense and now playing for a D point.
Yeah.
But
First one
DC
down.
making another mistake here in this game and giving New York the opportunity to extend their lead by another margin.
Cardenas with the disc. Quick flip to Pressburg. Just their specialty, Cardenas sisters' specialty is that really, really small ball, super tight windows. They're just so agile and able to get open. Pressburg finds DeJesus on the around. We're seeing some bumps here on the marks and the throwers. Now we're going to talk about who initiated the contact to determine who the foul is on. I imagine the stall was at 1 or 2, so it'll probably come in there. Jesus taps it in.
Really close coverage here, some good switches.
It looks like Trope took the switch there.
Wow.
Deep shot looking for Ding. Whoa!
Oh, so close.
A lot of bobbling. DC Shadow setting the pace. 30 seconds left here. I believe that's Groom looking for Amanda Murphy. Murphy taps that into March Walker's hands. Looking for Gentilette on this close sideline. Foul called here on Pressburg from Trope as they kind of collided a little bit there.
Time will run out on this call, so we will see if DC is willing to possess it all the way, or if they're gonna take a shot and play more aggressively.
As Marge Walker floats one up, Amanda Murphy's able to come down with it. Another pick called off the disc, didn't affect.
These are the ones you absolutely have to capitalize on. There is no reason. You have unlimited time to put the disc in, so this is the one where you really have to convert.
Walker with the disc, open Groom, open Sour Beer, back to Groom, back to Walker, to Groom, looking for Trope, contested, quick flip to Walker, Walker out to space for Amanda Murphy, and there you go, bag secured. DC able to score to end the quarter, making the score 12-6 heading into the fourth quarter.
That is not the position where Shadow wants to be. Even though they're got the last point, I think that they are really now up against that time wall, and they're going to have to really bring out some special sauce to capitalize on this last quarter that we have here. We might see Gridlock showing some signs of fatigue, but I don't see the chink in the armor there.
Here's that deep shot. Good D, bobble, 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 drop.
Yeah, Aaron McCann got a hand in there to help assist with that that block.
Here we just see DC offense working how we're used to seeing them work. Efficient, quick, and effective. And we're going to head to a break here. We'll return for fourth quarter action here at the Premier Ultimate League Championships. Welcome back to Vitus Field here in Philadelphia. We'd like to thank Discraft. The Discraft Ultra Star is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. And Friction Gloves, very excited to be a partner of the PUL and the official glove of championship weekend. Players around the league wear Friction Gloves, and everybody loves seeing amazing plays made in Friction Gloves week after week. We are thankful for the opportunity and look forward to expanding their partnership for the 2025 season.
All right, here we go. We are in the fourth quarter of the PUL Championships for 2024. We have DC has taken the field and New York is just heading out.
This is where sort of that strategy comes into play of, are you going to, you have a 6-goal deficit with 12 minutes. That time goes pretty fast. It is a lot of time. You can score 6 goals in 12 minutes somewhat easily. It's just you also have to hold them to not score any. So should DC look to take a lot more aggressive looks to shorten possession, have really short O points so that they can play really aggressively D, or kind of play with that mix or that conservativeness? In a timed game, you really have to up your strategy and have to think about it so much more.
Absolutely. And we'll get to see what DC has in store for Gridlock to see if they can really make any sort of comeback here in the fourth quarter. Keep those dreams alive.
Manuela Cardenas will get set here with the pull. As the wind kind of died there for a little bit for that pull. It's a great pull. Jessel will start off for the DC Shadow. You see some deep cuts clearing out that space for Marie Pervier. Up the field, another errant throw, however, will provide Gridlock with an opportunity to extend their lead. And not the type of mistake you can make at this point in the game if you want to make that comeback.
No, they really have to get the disc back and get it back fast if they want to stay close.
Also, not the mistakes they were making yesterday.
Not at all.
It is a really different team.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Claire Trupp with a great layout D, doesn't catch it, smacks it into the hands of a sprinting away Manuela Cardenas, and it looks like Trope is now injured on the field.
Oh boy,
That
does not look good.
That was such a tough layout. Oh my goodness. Here's a replay of it. Kind of a bailout throw here from Valeria, and just wow.
Yeah, looks like Claire might have come down on that knee pretty hard, and I know already wearing a brace, there might be some pre-existing injuries that are coming to light here, but able to get up and walk off the field, so that is a positive sign, and hopefully the trainers can get her some attention under the tent here.
Man, what a play though. So unfortunate that the wind, the spin of the disc kind of kept that momentum moving forward. Manuela Cardenas taps it in on the end zone. Looking for Emily Wang, decides not to. Fakes to Emily Berrigan. Will find number 21, Montana Roberts. Ooh. Shot to the end zone. Great layout. Good bid from Emma Berrigan. Had a hand on it, it looks like. Can't come down with it, though. So the Shadow have a chance here. 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the fourth. You got to move quick. Quick flick over the top to McCann. Center to Groom. Back to McCann. McCann up the field to Privier. Over to Walker. Seen the small ball work for DC Shadow a little well here to get them some space. But again, just a throw into the turf. Just an unforced error. Not looking good here for the DC Shadow and their chances of coming back in this game as Valeria Cardenas starts with the disc.
Yeah, that light is dimming and dimming quickly.
Finds Nina Finley on an inside shot. Nina to Manu. Nice inside from Manu to Valeria, and now going across the field looking for Berrigan again. This one's going to float. Wow! Emma Berrigan with the Statue of Liberty grab. The emphatic spike. Great grab.
And that's the last seen upwind end zone, and so Gridlock is in the commanding lead. That is a 13-6 Gridlock, dominance over in this game. They have really been playing lights out, and we've even seen, not to say it isn't a testament to how hard they've been working and what they've been doing, but even the little things like the float of the disc after a block, being able to come up, and here we see that absolute grab in the end zone by Berrigan.
You know, it doesn't always have to look pretty. It just has to work. Is kind of my mindset on these things. So if you have to float a flick out upwind to the far side or from where you're at, just trust that your teammate will make a play. That's what you got to do.
And I see Claire Trope is back out there for DC, so hopefully got whatever she needed attended to, and looks like she's feeling good enough to get back out there for the Shadow.
Definitely one of the most resilient players I've ever watched play. Trope, no stranger to hitting the ground often, especially in these big games. Gridlock pulls here.
We did have some intel before this weekend that Claire Trope was not playing at 100%. Obviously is still playing, but is definitely a little bit banged up even before that play.
So another disc pops up. Was supposed to be routine. Popped up. Annalise Peters is going to call foul as there was a little contact. DeJesus uncontests. No contest from DeJesus. So Peters will retain possession. Taps it in, finds Normile. And Normile again, just over the head of Groom. Just 2 throws in a row, and then Estelle Ding saying, I can also throw it a turnover as well. DC Shadow marching back upwind. Again, Wallace with the disc, finds Groom in the center. Groom to Peters. Peters loses the hat, hits the throw, finds Normile.
Normile holstering.
Couple fakes here. Trope with hands raised, looking for the disc. Peters will get it. A short throw, back to Normile. Back to Peters, not in. Quick flip to Groom, and that's a goal for the Shadow.
All right, upwind.
Upwind goal, scores now 13-7. We got 8 minutes and 35 seconds left. The deficit hasn't changed. But
no, that cushion has been pretty strong that Gridlock has established early on, and they don't look like they're looking to lose it.
As we take a look at some of these throws here from Carolyn Normile, very uncharacteristic to see her with 2 errant throws in a row. A veteran of the game, you would think.
Of the game, but it is hot out there. It is windy out there, and these players played yesterday in these conditions that were also pretty extreme, and so we don't know necessarily the toll that all this is taking on those bodies.
Yeah, we see the wind here, 19 miles per hour. We do have our friend Gusty Gary back in the building for the championship game, so we can see he's having effect on some of these throws out there.
I don't remember inviting him to this party, but
nobody
just shows up.
Nobody who plays Frisbee ever invites Gusty Gary, and yet he comes through. As we see Privier getting set to pull here for the Shadow. I believe it was her pull early on that rolled through the legs of a Gridlock player and out the back. Let's see if she can work some more of that type of magic here. It's another really good pull. Will it stay in bounds? Yes. It's called out of bounds.
Called out. Knocks that cone over.
So, did that ever come in bounds?
Oh, that is the question, and it looks like the...
Yeah, wow. DC coach is kind of not happy about that, obviously. Kind of trying to go to bat for their players, saying, yo, that landed in bounds. I mean, yeah, it hit the cone. Was it inbounds? Was it out of bounds? I'm not sure. Looks like Valeria will start.
This is a very short field. All right.
Cartagenas over to Krebs. Krebs with a nice low flow up the line. Finds Cartagena, sorry. Back to Krebs.
Sort of jammed up in that corner there. Not a lot of space to work with.
Back to Cartagena. Looking for Finley up line. Oh, it's another tough one. I see an observer calling it down, another one calling it up.
Oh, there's going to be a conversation, I believe, between the observers about that one, as there is some disagreement in their perspectives.
Might have
Here's a
jumped
replay.
on Nina Finley here a little bit, just a little bit out of her hands, but
I think that's a grab. I think it's
Let's
a catch.
take a look. I think we're going to see it again. I think we
One
are
bobble,
looking
two
one
bobble.
bubbles. It
That's a
floats.
goal. That's a goal.
It floats.
The observers come to the same conclusion. Goal is called, and the right call is made. So Gridlock extend their lead to 7 points. 14-7, 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in the fourth. Here's that pull. Did it land in bounds?
that looks in bounds. It looks on the near side of the cone.
Yeah.
And it's in the end zone. That looked in bounds.
Yeah.
All right, oh man.
Wow. Doesn't get any closer with that. That's a grass field. Yeah, you would probably call that one down.
But here we are on some very warm turf, and the wind is looking more gusty and more aggressive. I am seeing these tents down on the field really getting shaken up, and so as we conclude this game, as you see the jerseys on the players blowing in the wind, just know that you might not be able to feel the conditions at home, but the players are sure experiencing them down on the field.
Good old Gusty Gary, as Manuel Cardenas will look to pull here for the Gridlock.
All right.
Downwind pull, a little outside in edge, good pace.
Oh boy, that is a big.
Normal chasing that one, and again another backhand air bounce that pops up, leads to a contested catch. Cassie Brown says, no, Groom's got it. Shadow will retain possession. Normal to Wallace. To Groom with a great grab. Couple ankle biters here. Marge Walker with the disc. Shooting deep, looking for Trope. This one's not going to make it to her, I don't think. No, but it will make it to number 18, Caroline Turnquist.
Who might have been cleated.
It was the pile there. She stepped on her teammate's foot and was not able to land when she caught the disc. So rolled her ankle stepping on a teammate. And if you're going to take some of these 50-50 looks, then that's sort of the risk you take, is everyone wants to get in and under it. And you see here she'll step, kind of can't land because of Trope's foot right there.
Your disc here. Pick it up. Yeah.
We hope she's okay, as Lisa Dang will sub in for her. Shadow offense communicating, trying to get organized. As they fall into a vert. Dang finds Wallace. Wallace to Groom, to Dang. Now we really see Cami Groom just cooking here. It's Lizzie Laurie on the far side and into, I believe, Marge Walker for the goal.
And that's a glimpse, I think, of some of what we saw yesterday from DC Shadow, being able to move the disc efficiently, being able to take the right looks and be able to punch it in without so much pressure on them. But with 6 minutes and 21 seconds left and 6 points to go, I'm thinking that Gridlock has to feel pretty secure in their position at the moment. All right, so we are getting ready. I am not sure if we are in the process of it does not look like we're calling our heat timeout at the moment. So after the 6 minute mark, that'll happen, but we are starting to come to the final minutes of this PUL championship game.
And what a season it has been. What a championship season it has been.
Gridlock looks like they're feeling good, dancing on the side, dancing on the O-line, ready to receive. it certainly gives you a lot of extra room to breathe with a 6-goal lead. We did not, Surge did not feel that room to breathe yesterday, as we were the one trying to fight back at almost this exact same deficit.
So Annalise Peters will let this pull rip. This one clearly landing in bounds. Valerio will field it. Up to Gina Cartagena. Finds number 2, Jolene Zhang. Zhang to Krebs. Krebs to Valeria. And an immediate shot. Wow. Great pressure there from Ritzman. But it's Jolene Zhang that comes down with the goal for the Gridlock.
Yeah, I would be interested, Dre, from your perspective, what have been the big storylines this season as we see New York Gridlock sort of riding down the Champs-Élysées, to use a Tour de France reference, but they are sort of coming into the end of this game looking like they're poised to win. And what story do you think has been told from their perspective over the course of the last couple months?
Gridlocks?
Gridlocks, yes.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of, they had a lot of departures before the season started. I know that, things in New York might have been a little bit rocky with players leaving and changing, and they've lost Amy Jo and Tulsa Douglas and some of their big players. So I think this year was sort of, what are we going to see from them? But as you can see from some of these highlights, they have a lot of strength left and a lot of talent. And Valeria is, a huge addition to this team and gets it done on both ends. Is just such a powerful asset to have to your team.
Yeah, that's great. And I'd be interested, just from your leadership perspective, what the PUL is now. We had sort of an in-between season, but there's been several seasons now of this league. And where do you think the organization, what sort of future does it have to look forward to going into the next couple of years?
Yeah, there's been some steady growth. We've also had teams depart, like Revo, and this year the Columbus Pride have left. So we obviously want to keep growing, keep expanding teams. That's tricky when certain teams leave. But yeah, I think it's going in the right direction, and the popularity is growing for sure.
And we're also continuing to attract such key players. We see here Lindsay McKenna, Raha Muzaffari, Kemi Gurum, Claire Trope, Valeria Cardenas, Manuela Cardenas, and Nina Cartagena, all playing for their respective world's teams. And so there'll be familiar faces for you to see if you tune into those championships.
5 in this game right here. So
Absolutely.
5 stars. We'll head to break, and we'll be back for the rest of the fourth quarter after this.
And welcome back here to Vitus Field in beautiful University City, Philadelphia. We are getting ready to put a ribbon on this one here, as Valeria Cardenas will look to pull this one down to the DC Shadow. The Gridlock are up 15-8. There's 5 minutes and 53 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Some big smiles that I'm seeing from Gridlock players as they are, I think, not willing to celebrate yet, but they are feeling good because they have been putting in the work and the effort all season to get to where they are now, and they are seeing that all pay off for them.
A lot of quick movement to start from Lisa Dang and Marge Walker. About 6 passes to make it up about 25 yards from the end zone. Looks like a pick is called, or perhaps an injury as Lisa Dang is now hobbling off.
But again, able to come off on her own accord. Looks like favoring one foot, and we have Allie Wallace going in instead.
All right, 3, 2, 1, tack it in when we're ready.
Normal with the disc. Finds Walker in the center. Back to Normal. Normal to Ritzman. Ritzman up the field to Trope. Good grab from her. Looking deep now. Instead finds Cammie Groom, but it's 2 inside. Can Allie Wallace get there? No. Good defense from number 62, Casey Bento Ryan. And I have no idea what just happened, but Claire Trope's going to throw this one up into the sky. It's going to go further back than it will forward. Ritzman can't come down with it.
Manuela was out of bounds over there. That's what happened on the turn.
Okay.
And there is, so the lines are different in this game than they were yesterday. Yesterday we played all the way up until that white line. And so I wonder if these teams, they've had a little bit trouble on that side today. I wonder if it's because we've actually switched the line that they're playing with.
Great defense from Claire Trope to stop a Gridlock deep shot from being completed. It's the Shadow now. Look to work this one up the field. 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in the game. Is it possible? Can the Shadow come back and win?
No, I don't think so.
Not from what I've seen. It would have taken a team, maybe if they were playing the way they played yesterday, but with the execution errors that we've been seeing from this team, they just aren't able to do sort of the catching and throwing that is the bread and butter of what makes the offense go, and they haven't been able to reliably lock down those blocks like they have been with other teams, and so I think today is just not going to be their day.
Oh, she caught that? Valeria Cardenas somehow catches that D and then throws it away. So we see a little bit of sloppiness setting in here.
A little squirrely down
as
there.
The game is coming to a close. 3 minutes and 27 seconds left. The clock is ticking. Normal will pick up the disc. Looking to the end zone for Marge Walker. Not in, and Pressburg again.
Oh no, down on the ground.
Yep, again, clutching at that calf of theirs.
You know, I've had those situations. Calves can be real twitchy, and when I feel like once they start to get a little bit unhappy and a little bit cranky, they can just continue to be a problem throughout the next couple hours. So I send my deepest sympathies to Pressburg, who's on the ground, and hope they've got a great team taking care of them.
Another stoppage here. 3 minutes, 16 seconds left.
Certainly a lower scoring game than we've seen typically. Both higher scores yesterday. Both of the winning scores yesterday were higher by about 4 or 5 goals.
It was 5 exactly.
5 goals. Both had 20 each. Only getting to 15 and then holding DC to single digits, at least so far, is a pretty big feat to not only beat them but to hold them to, might get to double digits in the next couple of minutes, but for most of the game holding them to single digits is really impressive by Gridlock.
I agree. That's Claire Trope with the goal there. Nice grab by her. Let's take another look.
Yeah, that was a nice attempt by Cassie Brown there to get that bid, but not quite connecting on it this time.
So we have the Gridlock up 15-9. There's 3 minutes left here in the fourth. Do see the Gridlock players moving a little bit slower to this O-line. De Jesus kind of having to shepherd her players down, reel them in, because PUL does run on time between points. I believe it's, what, 70 seconds between points? I'm asking?
That seems right, yes.
Okay, cool.
At least a signal, I think, readiness. And then another, I think, 20 before the poll goes off. And I've observed one of these games, so I should know that, but the numbers would need to be refreshed before I got back out there in the orange or the green.
Yes, as I believe Jess Sourbeer will look to pull this one.
Well, that is a nice pull from Sourbeer.
Good pull, a lot of pace. Megs Valeria. Somewhere someone has to do 5 push-ups for that. Cartagenas with the disc. Cartagena with the disc finds Cardenas.
A lot of pressure, short passes.
Krebs on the under.
There's 2. New York Gridlock is covering that deep space, although it's not looking to come for them. Oh, and there is a turnover and a short field for DC to look to score.
Krebs is human. She does make mistakes sometimes. Jesso with the disc on the far side. Finds an open Lizzie Laurie.
It's a good holster.
Little up line to Annalise Peters. Quick flip back to Laurie for the goal. DC Shadow. There's the double digits now within 5. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. It kind of feels like maybe they're not out of it.
I think they want to believe that. And so I think in order to finish this game with their heads held high, they need to put it all out there. And so I think that's important. How you finish a season is more about how the outcome of the game is. It is how you feel at the end of the points. And so did you leave it all out there? Did you take all the opportunities to score? And did you really make the most of it? So I think these players want to leave regardless of the score with their heads held high, knowing that they put in 100% of their effort, left it all on the field, and knew that that was the way that they were going to walk out of this stadium today.
So we see a couple replays here. Here's the quick flip and the quicker flip.
Yep.
A little wobbler, but it'll do.
A lot of short passes in small spaces.
Yes, a little error there from Krebs. I think she just needed to step out, throw with her legs, as someone once told me. Valeria looking to pick up.
We got 2 minutes left.
I think that was the travel. I think I just saw it. Finds Krebs on the what looked like to be the break side. Krebs completes this one to Hlavity. Back to Krebs. Up the field to Cartagena. Cartagena with a Blady shot right into the hands of 00 Emma Jones.
You're getting close to a minute. We're just under 90 seconds left.
Quick movement. We have Lauren Johnson with the disc here on this close sideline. Minute 15 left. Emma Jones to Allie Wallace. Wallace to Groom. Groom, oh, great layout D from Krebs. Looks like number 46.
That's Graham Cunningham is calling a foul. Looks like maybe thinking that the defender came over her shoulder, but we're going to get another look at that play. It's a hard angle to see.
I'm thinking it's clean. Looked clean from my eyes up here. Going with my gut. What do y'all think?
I'm thinking that we're going to go to the observers for a ruling.
We're going to play
Jolie certainly
clear view in here. So going back.
It's going to be a foul. Contested
To me,
foul.
it looks like Jolie's hand got there first. She swipes it away. Maybe after the swipe, her shoulder might hit Graham, but
Yeah.
she beat her to the disc and got there and was able to knock it away. I don't think Graham still had a play after that.
See
I see what
Groom
you're
with
saying.
the disc. Finds Wallace on the reset.
And for the observers to not see that, that's a pretty crucial call at the end of a game to not have visibility on, especially with 4 observers here.
Yes, I agree. 48 seconds left. As the Shadow look to work it up the field. Groom with the disc on this close sideline. Again has Wallace. Puts a flick out there. Wallace with a great layout grab to save possession, and then ends up throwing it away. Tough one here for the Shadows. Time ticks down. 30 seconds left. Valeria Cardenas with the disc to start. Immediately shoots to the end zone. A wide open Gina Cartagena. I have a feeling a pick was called.
Yeah, all Gridlock has to do is possess. and they don't have that much time left on the clock before they'll be able to claim their victory on this game.
25 seconds left. I don't see the Shadow making the comeback at this point. I think we can call this one a win for the Gridlock, as Cartagena with the disc on the far sideline. Up the field to Hlavity.
I think they wouldn't mind having one more, though.
Inside shot to DeJesus. Nice saving layout clap catch for the goal there. 10.7 seconds left. Gridlock up 16-10. As we get set to kind of close this one out, do you all have any like final thoughts or anything like that? Anything to look forward to? Is there a silver lining here for the Shadow?
Just to acknowledge Gridlock, I mean, they've been in the league since 2019. I played for them for 2 years. They've been sort of knocking on the door every year, have always been a contender, have always been a top contender. So to see them kind of, fight for years and get it done is pretty cool. I think, if you had asked people to put money on it and to bet, this is not the outcome we would have seen, but they were able to show up and play the exact game they needed and outlast DC's depth and talent.
Absolutely. I think, again, also want to give a lot of props and a huge shout out to New York Gridlock in being able to finish the season. A lot of a season this short is being able to find your stride at the right time. And so they have been successful in their previous games, being undefeated. They will remain undefeated through the end of the season and not falling apart at any moments, especially when the pressure was high. I think DC is going to have a lot to think about on the ride home and over the course of the next days, weeks, however long the memories last. But I think that this is going to be a tough pill to swallow for DC.
I agree. As Normal will start with the disc. Centers it to Peters, who's going to shoot deep. Rivier can't come down with it. 2 seconds, 1 second, a deep shot goes up. It doesn't matter. That is the game. We will watch as the Gridlock celebrate. Congratulations to the New York Gridlock, your 2024 Premier Ultimate League champions. Well-deserved. Won this game handedly. Never really let the game get out of their control. We're always in control on offense. We're able to apply a lot of pressure on defense and disrupt that DC Shadow rhythm that they're so used to flowing throughout the season.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that we talked about, I think in terms of point differentials, DC had more of a margin on the games that they played, but I think perhaps New York having maybe some closer moments in the games that they played over the course of the season might have had to think about their resilience and like their ability to come back or to really grind a little bit differently. In DC, this is the first moment where they really had to be tested, and I think that they were not able today to rise to the challenge that was presented to them. But we see New York Gridlock, I think, well-deserved celebration. Very timely as we turn to the stats for the game and see what the numbers show us about these performances today.
So a lot of turnovers from both teams. 35 from the Shadow, 29 from Gridlock. That's usually where ultimate games are decided. Obviously the turnovers and then the breaks and the break chances. 24 break chances for the Gridlock, 13 for the Shadow.
Neither one converting their break chances at a super high rate, almost like doubling and tripling their actual break conversion, their chances to the actual breaks that they were able to convert. I think the turnovers, there was a difference in the quality of turnovers. So DC's turnovers were resets, undercuts, couple deep shots, turfs into the ground. Pretty simple stuff that they completed all day yesterday, to my frustration. But today, they could not complete those. Gridlock's turnovers, while they still had a lot, were a lot more aggressive. We're not really in the small ball space. We're still able to be efficient and get it back after they would complete it. It was just a really different type of turnover for each team.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the unforced errors on DC's side and the degree to which they were one of their own opponents today is again going to last in the minds of DC Shadow as they think about their road to the finish line. And we are going to be able to get a chance to talk to someone from York Gridlock as they make their way off the celebration line, the high five line. So hopefully we'll have, I believe Jolie Krebs is going to be able to come over to us once that is celebration is done.
Yeah, shout out to all the fans that made the trip from New York or DC or any other Philadelphia fans that came to just watch some good Ultimate. Shout out to all the viewers at home for tuning in. We appreciate your support so much. Obviously, this league does not happen without your support. Just like to, again, just plug if you feel the need to donate. The Premier Ultimate League is obviously happy to accept that. It takes a village to run this organization, run this broadcast, to run each team individually. So it is important that while we do want to support them, in person and show our fandom and whatnot, it is also important to put our money where our mouths are.
Absolutely. The PUL is again 501c6, and so there are many ways that you can support, volunteer, or donate. And we are looking like Krebs is getting mic'd up right now, and you can, if you want, donate now from your screen. We know that the PUL appreciates every dollar that goes into the organization. If you scan that QR code, you can donate to the PUL and support these great athletes and the organization.
And I'll do one last shout out to the Philadelphia Surge for hosting this. Beautiful city of Philadelphia, Drexel University. I mean, what a beautiful complex we have here. The vibe here has been electric all season long. It really is truly something special. I can't say anything to the other teams, but the vibe here is very special. I wish more people could have made it out this championship weekend to experience it. But we do have Jolie Krebs getting set up with the mic. We have our camera crew down there as we kind of just... And Jolie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, Jolie. I'm Sean Dacey. I'm with Dre DeSabato and Lane Young. How are you feeling right now?
Great. I'm feeling really, really good. Super pumped.
Yeah, you had an amazing game. You've had an amazing season. Congrats on, obviously, this championship. Congrats on a Callahan Award. You played lights out all season long, it seemed. Really impressive throws, great layout grabs. You played with great intensity. I don't really have any questions for you. I just kind of want to commend you on having that dog in you.
That's the goal. That's the goal. I got to live up to the name, so.
Jolie, what were you thinking about coming into this game? As a player, two undefeated teams matching up against each other. I know probably what your coaches said, but you personally, what were you focusing on? What were you trying to do?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of anticipation coming up into the game, just two undefeated teams. We know that DC is just so talented and has so many talented players, a lot of which I've seen or played with or watched before. So I think there definitely was like a lot of anticipation, some nerves for sure. But honestly, going into the game, like the main feeling I had was excitement. Like it's especially as like a young player, like coming out of college, there's not a lot of opportunities to any opportunity to play against so much talent is just really, really exciting and an opportunity for growth. So I was just really, really excited to be here with a team that we've been able to grow together so much, and then also to play against a team that's so talented. Yeah, there was a lot of excitement, and I feel like we really just went into the game wanting to control the controllables. If we were to win, winning our way, winning with our system, with our players. And I think we did just that and found success in it. So,
congratulations on the big win. I would love to hear your thoughts. We have a lot of young folks in the audience who are getting to watch the PUL and getting to see performances like yours and like your teammates. What advice would you have to young players who are coming up in Ultimate as they're looking to grow their game, sharpen their skills, and maybe be in a Gridlock jersey one day?
I try to keep the mentality of just always having fun. like if I'm having fun playing and excited to come to practice, to tournaments, to games every day, then it's a win for me. So I think the most special part about Ultimate to me has always been the community and the culture. I've played a lot of sports and I enjoy the competitiveness in all of them, but what stands out about Ultimate is the community and the culture and the support and the positivity. And so really like leaning into that, using it to not only play and be competitive, but also find people you love, have fun with it, create community, and just remind yourself of why you're doing it every day. So I think that, and just like putting everything into everything you got. Every single moment you're on the field, especially in big moments like this, but really any moment you're out on the field, like you should be giving 110% to every single moment. And that's kind of my mentality going out there. It's like when you're on, you should be on. When you come off, you take that time to rest. But when you're on, it's 110% every time. So I think that helps as well.
You certainly showed it today. I know your team is calling you over, so if you have to run, you can. But if you also just have a word about the PUL as a platform and being a rookie, one last final quick word, what would you say about just being able to play on this stage?
It's incredible. I just think we just need more representation for women's sports, women's professional sports, and I think we just need, to give it the credit it deserves, to be excited about it like we are excited about all sports. I think the PUL uplifts and highlights so much talent, and I would just, hope that everyone would be excited for PUL games as they would for any other sport or any other team. So
great. Appreciate it. We'll let you go celebrate.
Sorry,
Thanks.
I gotta go. Thank you.
All right, seeing some highlights here from this game today. Some big blocks. Again, we just really saw New York Gridlock in the control seat for this entire game from start to finish.
Yeah, just having the pressure on defense and relentless on offense, not making too many mistakes early, allowing them to build that lead, and then as they had made more mistakes later on, it didn't really matter. The lead was set, it was fine. So New York Gridlock are your 2024 Premier Ultimate League champions. We'd like to thank you so much for joining in, and we will see you in 2025 for the next season.